Hi friends, please subscribe my channel for more scary and horror stories. Subscribe. PewDiePie was traveling for an event and booked a small hotel room late at night. It was not a luxury place, just a quiet stopover near the airport. The hallway smelled of old carpet and cleaning chemicals, the kind of smell that lingers and makes the air heavy. When he checked in, the receptionist handed him an old key, not a card, just a small brass key with the number 27 scratched into it. The woman barely spoke. She only told him the elevator was broken, and he would have to take the stairs. The hallway lights flickered as he climbed to the second floor, each bulb buzzing softly overhead. The room itself was plain: a bed, a wooden desk, and a mirror that stretched across the wall facing the bed. Felix dropped his bag and sat down. The silence in the room felt strange, almost thick, as if the walls were pressing inward. He noticed the window was nailed shut with wooden boards, like someone had forced it closed long ago. He lay on the bed, scrolling through his phone, when he heard a faint tap behind the mirror. At first, he thought it was just pipes, or maybe a neighbor, but the taps became steady, like slow, deliberate knocks. He stood up and touched the glass cold, almost freezing, though the room was warm. He leaned closer, and for a second, he thought he saw a faint shadow move behind the glass, as if someone was standing in the wall watching him. Felix pulled back his breath. Quick, he left the television on for noise and tried to sleep, but at 3 a.m, he woke to the sound of whispering the mirror, reflecting only his own pale face. But the whispers came from behind. It muffled low, as if 2 people were talking through the wall. He pressed his ear closer and heard his own name, Felix, spoken clearly by a voice that was not his. He grabbed his bag and rushed to the door, but when he pulled it open, the hallway was pitch black, every light out, the whole corridor swallowed in darkness, except for one faint glow from the far end, where the stairs were. He stepped into the hall, heart pounding, and glanced back at the room. The mirror now seemed brighter, almost glowing faintly from within, and a tall shadow was pressed against the glass, its head tilting slowly as if following him. He ran down the stairs 2 at a time, and out through the lobby where no one was at the desk, the front door wide open as if waiting for him. He did not stop until he was outside in the cold air. The next morning, he returned with hotel staff to grab the rest of his things, but the receptionist swore room 27 had been locked for years. She said the mirror in that room had been covered because a guest once complained of people staring at her from inside it. When they unlocked it for Felix, the room was empty, the board still nailed across the window, and no sign of his bedsheets or his bag, as if he had never been there at all. Felix PewDiePie wanted peace after endless weeks of streaming and editing, so he booked a small cabin in rural Sweden, far away from cameras and noise. The lake shimmered quietly outside, and the woods stood tall and still. The first night seemed perfect. He cooked pasta, lit a fire, and even laughed to himself about how calm life felt. But at 3 in the morning, he woke to a scratching sound against the wooden wall of the cabin. The sound dragged slowly toward his window. Then came 3 knocks, soft and steady against the glass. His chest grew tight. He whispered to himself that it was only a branch or maybe an animal, but the sound was too controlled, too deliberate. He pulled the blanket to his chin and forced himself back to sleep. At 2:47, he woke again. The cabin was freezing, even with the fire still glowing. His locked bedroom door was open just an inch. His phone screen glowed in the darkness, the camera already recording his own face, pale and frightened. But in the corner of the frame stood a tall, pale figure in the doorway. Felix turned quickly and saw nothing. The doorframe empty. He searched the cabin with a fireplace poker, his breaths sharp and shaky. Every window sealed, every lock in place. No trace of anyone inside. He told himself he was exhausted, but his eyes refused to close again. The following night, the scratching returned, but now it came from above, slow, crawling movements across the ceiling. He pulled down the attic ladder and climbed into the crawl space, his flashlight shaking as it revealed footprints in the dust. Bare human prints leading into the corner of the attic. Carved into the wooden beam with ragged fingernails were the words, "Stay quiet, Felix." His stomach turned. He stumbled back down the ladder and ran. He grabbed his bag and drove until he reached Stockholm. When police checked the cabin, they found nothing. No footprints, no carvings, no evidence at all. But his phone still carried the recording, 7 minutes long. It showed him sleeping soundly. Then, at the 6th minute, the bedroom door opened. A tall, pale figure stepped inside and stood at the foot of his bed, watching without a word. Until the moment Felix opened his eyes, he never returned to that cabin, and he never spoke of that night again. Hi friends, please subscribe my channel for more scary and horror stories. Subscribe.